I want to talk about MRIs, but I want to talk about the patient experience. And, so I'm someone who I have never gotten an MRI. You talked about before, it's a noisy. I imagine a lot of people probably have a general apprehension or just because they've never done it before, they don't even know what it's like. So I'd love it if you could kind of talk through what is it like to go and get an MRI? How long does it take? What do you have to do? What are the steps? And just walk people through that to kind of give everyone a sense.
Yeah. So the way Ezra works is we're direct consumer. So you go on Ezra.com, you sign up for the type of scan you'd like to get. And we have various different types of scan, with our full body MRI being the kind of staple product. You choose where you want to get scanned. And we have about 17 partner imaging facilities that are kind of hand curated imaging facilities that are very high quality, in locations where we scan, and we're live in 6 cities. And you then visit this facility and you get a scan. It's a 60-minute scan. It is longer than you'd want to be in a scanner. It really is. I will, if you're claustrophobic, especially, it's not a pleasant experience. I will say we've had members now who've done it multiple times in subsequent years. Once you've done the first one and you see what it's all about and you get used to the length of time you're in there and so on, it gets easier. But the first one is certainly, hard, especially if you've never done MRI before. In my case, I've now done dozens of MRIs. I was actually the guinea pig for our very first scan, which was 3.5 hours when we were kind of working on this. And I find it meditative because you have no phone, you have nothing, you're just in that machine. And the easiest thing you can do is just breathe and meditate. So you get your scan, and then 5 to 7 business days from having gotten your scan, you receive your Ezra report, which is a radiology report that walks you through every single finding and a translation of what the finding means. So we don't tell you just like unremarkable parenchyma. You don't know what that means. We translate that for you. And then you can have a video call with a medical provider who's an employee of Ezra, who will guide you through your findings, give you an action plan, and next steps if there are any. There will be next steps even if there's no cancer. Like we sometimes find fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that can lead to cirrhosis, which can lead to like other types of issues, including potentially cancer. You can actually reduce your fatty liver content by doing exercise, lifting weights, etc. So we tell you what you should be doing based on your Ezra report. And then you can have a follow-up call with a Ezra medical provider 6 months in, just to check in and see how things are going. And then especially over 40, we do recommend that people do it annually.
The fatty liver, is a really interesting example where you're screening for cancer, you end up finding a fatty liver, and then you can obviously help that person, give them advice and coaching around what to do there. Does that happen this is probably a weird question, or it's and I have no idea what this is, which is why I'm asking. Do you find that for other organs? Like, do you ever find something to do with the lungs that may suggest someone doesn't have enough lung capacity, or something to do with the heart? What do you find that you're not looking for besides fatty liver?
Yeah, so we find all sorts of things that are not cancer that might be clinically significant. So we often find disc herniations because our scan includes the spine. And so we find disc herniations, which if they're asymptomatic, you don't need to do anything about it. But if your lower back has been hurting and you can barely stand for 5 hours and so on, now you know why. You have a disc herniation that maybe needs some physical therapy, some exercise, etc. We find aneurysms. Aneurysms are important to know about because they can pop, and if they do, you want to know why. We find hernias. Hernias, again, if they're asymptomatic, they're fine, but if they're symptomatic, you now know why, your abdominal area has been hurting or whatever. So we have tens, if not hundreds, of types of findings. And what we've done is we've created this AI that takes every single one of these findings, converts it into a translation of what it means and what you should do about it. And then we put that into the Ezra report that you receive. So we're very focused on cancer, but you get significantly more value than just screening for cancer from doing an Ezra scan.